The Burning. This is supposed to be a slasher film, but I don't know what the goal was here because this does not come off as a slasher film. Let me explain. For a majority of the movie, you spend the most time with the campers, and it'll often feel like you're not watching a slasher, instead it'll feel like you're watching a teenage comedy about campers, with a little slasher-esque things sprinkled in. That's until we reach the last 45 minutes of the movie. Then we're thrusted in what this movie was supposed to be, a slasher. So here's the synopsis. At summer camp, some teenagers pull a prank on the camp's caretaker, Cropsy. But the joke goes terribly wrong when the teens leave Cropsy for dead after setting him on fire. But no one keeps Cropsy down. A few years later, the burned and disfigured caretaker returns to camp equipped with his trusty shears, ready to unleash a particular brand of vengeance on a whole new group of teens. The murderous Cropsy stalks the campers in the woods one by one. That's Cat. I don't know what kind of definition they're going with for stalking, but he does not stalk them. He appears in random points of the movie. They basically tease him like how the Marvel movies used to tease Thanos. Most people that I've seen review this are talking about how it rips off the Friday the 13th, and I can see where you're getting at. But at least Friday the 13th was able to keep that mysterious, eerie, creepy vibe. This movie does not do that. The tone is so lighthearted. This is why I described it as a comedy. So this is how I think the movie was made. The company wanted a movie, but there were two scripts. One was a teen drama about campers, and the other was about Cropsy being burned and becoming a serial killer. And since they couldn't choose one, they decided to merge them into one disjointed movie. In my slasher film video, when I said I don't like when teenagers pull such extreme pranks, this is what I'm talking about. In this movie, one night, a group of boys want to get back at Cropsy, and instead of doing a harmless little prank, they put a skull with candle in the eye sockets in his cabin while he's sleeping and lit the candle, so basically it looks like a skull with fiery eyes. Now you tell me if that's not the stupidest thing they could have done, considering the numerous things that can go wrong. So after it was lit, they made a lot of noise by banging on the window, which woke Cropsy up, and he freaked out. And when he saw the skull, he hit it and it fell on his bed and it caught fire and the boys ran away. So after 5 years of being hospitalized and rehabilitated, and I'm assuming he went to therapy, he has finally been discharged from the hospital and is now roaming the streets, wearing a long coat, gloves, and a hat. And due to it being dark, you can't really see his face, and as he walks, he stumbles on a random hooker who brings him back to her place, and when she sees his face, she changes her mind and asks him to leave, and he kills her. Now after such a violent scene, you are then brought to Camp Stonewater, where there are children having fun at camp, and this is what the rest of the movie is gonna focus on, not Cropsy. He's now a background character, and he doesn't really do anything. So the kids are playing baseball, and someone hit the ball and it flew into the woods, and a girl named Tiger goes to look for the ball, and Cropsy just lurks, and when he's about to kill her, she finds the ball and runs off. Then they try to make you think he's gonna kill another girl while she's in the shower, but it was just Alfred spying on her. So Alfred gets caught, and Todd, one of the older boys, is trying to reprimand him, and they start talking about how Alfred's a loner and doesn't have any friends, and Todd tells him that he doesn't have to take on the world by himself, he can talk to him, and that's fine and all, but that's not why you were having the conversation with him in the first place. I'm not comprehending this scene. They were talking about him peeping on a girl, and Alfred said he just wanted to scare her. Then we start talking about how he has no friends, and then the scene just ends with no resolution. What was the point of the scene then? If it was to state that he has no friends, well, that's questionable because in another scene, you'll see him hanging out with three other boys, and they're laughing and talking, and you would assume that they are his friends. So I don't know what that's about. So Alfred runs into this guy named Glazer, and it turns out he bullies Alfred. And Glazer threatens Alfred and tells him to stay away from his girl, which is the girl he was peeping on. So Glazer is roughing him up, right? And then he gets interrupted by Todd, who then reprimands Glazer. So I'm like, where was this energy when you were talking to Alfred? What, you got a no bullying policy but not a no peeping policy? So anyway, at the lake, the girls are on a platform socializing, and Alfred and three other guys are walking to the edge of a bridge. And they're joking around, and the three other guys jump in the water, and Alfred doesn't because he can't swim. And what does Glazer do? He pushes him in, and the other guys had to save him. I want to know why Glazer has such pure hatred for Alfred. The dude can't even harm a fly. Then Glazer jumps off and swims to the platform, climbs up and starts talking to the girls, and someone shoots him with a BB gun. Oh, and then the movie tries to remind you that it's a slasher by having Cropsey walk slowly with tense music as he approaches the boys' cabin. And we're in his POV, by the way. And then they do the same thing again 2 scenes later, and it's just so lame and unimaginative. Now the kids are canoeing to an island where they're going to spend the night, and while they're there, sitting around a campfire, Todd is telling them about Camp Blackfoot, which is where Cropsey worked and where he got burned. Then two campers sneak off to do what teenagers do in movies, and one of them gets killed, and Cropsey set the canoes loose, so they're now stuck on the island. And at this point in the movie, this is where it feels like an actual slasher film. The kids make a makeshift raft and try to find one of the canoes. They did, but Cropsey was hiding in it, and he kills them. And how he knew that they would find this one specifically, I don't know, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know either. He then goes back to the island and starts killing. So the remaining teenagers found the raft and saw the dead bodies and freak out. Then they decide to use the raft to go back to camp to get help. Meanwhile, Alfred is being chased by Cropsey, and Todd goes to look for him. So Michelle is now heading back to the island with help, and Todd finds Cropsey, kills him, and saves Alfred. The end. Most of the reviews I read said that the last part of the movie was the best part, and I disagree. I think all the good parts are when the campers are socializing, and anytime they cut to the killer, it kills the mood, and then you remember that this is supposed to be a slasher. It has elements of a slasher, but I think they put way too much effort in the campers to the point where the slasher part of the movie underperforms. Also, if you're not interested in the campers, then this is going to be a very boring movie for you to sit through. Cropsey makes an appearance here and there, and then at the last part of the movie, so you don't see him often. You're mostly going to see the campers. So if you were not interested in the campers, this is going to be a pretty boring movie for you.